Hey, today I'm finishing up my little series of magical girl designs based on the seasons. Today I'm working on autumn. If you want to see the other three, they are on my account. So yeah, let's go. Okay, so for this one, I had quite a bit of trouble coming up with an idea. I mean, obviously the easy route would have been to go for a leafy orange themed character, but that felt a little bit, I guess, generic and uninspired, so I wanted to find a different concept. I did a few sketches inspired by typical autumn outfits, but I didn't end up liking any of those. And then I tried making designs that were kind of based on waves and water, and I thought those were a little bit more interesting, but I still didn't love them. Yeah, so then I left it for a bit to work on some other stuff. So then one day, completely separately from this, I just started doing some random sketches of a magical girl concept inspired by a personality change. And I thought that would actually work really well for an autumn-themed magical girl, because I feel like the atmosphere does really drastically change during autumn. It's like the transition between summer and winter, but it's much more drastic than it is in spring. Maybe not a perfect concept, a bit abstract I guess, but it works well enough, and I really just had no other ideas, so I decided to just go with it. I mean, it's different at the very least. So yeah, the main idea is the personality shift. I imagine that she was once a summery, bright, confident person, but then for whatever reason she lost that spark and became more cold and reclusive. So in terms of visuals, how I decided to go about representing that was to basically have her outfit kind of represent who she used to be and be a bit of a remnant of that, but then her stance and her expressions and stuff would be more reflective of who she has become. With the hair, I decided for this layered kind of style to be representative of change and I guess different stages that she goes through to get from who she was to who she is now. Similar reasoning for why the sheer fabrics on the arms goes from short to long. The outfit itself is pretty revealing and flashy. I used this sparkle diamond shape throughout the design because I feel like it is very eye-catching and something that once confident person would really try to accessorize themselves with. In terms of colours, I decided to use primarily this really bright, striking turquoise colour. It really screams "look at me," which I think the past version of her would have wanted. But then for the hair and eyes, I decided to go for something that was a little bit more typically autumn. I think it really ties in the autumn theming, but also makes her stand out, which I think works for both of the ideas that I was using in this design. So yeah, that's about it. Here's the finished design. Her name's Avril. I hope you like her. Okay, and now moving on to the illustration. I'll probably keep this section pretty brief because I don't have a ton to say about it. My idea for her powers was to have some kind of a magical sheen that changes colours, to tie in with the change idea. So she'd basically release this magic from the ruffles on her arms. And I guess this magic would stun her opponents so that they're stuck in place. So what I needed to do for this illustration was to put her in a pose where her arms could be out so that, the magic could have space to flow from them. I ended up on a pose where she's kind of turning away from the camera. I know it's not the most unique, but I feel like it does suit the idea of her having a reclusive personality. For her facial expression, I tried to give her something that was very stern and serious and really concentrating on what she was doing, but also a hint of nervousness. But yeah, it was generally pretty straightforward. For the colouring, I was pretty loose with it. I tried not to really worry about things like staying in or out of lines and going fully up to the lines and everything. I tried to stay quite rough with it and rely mainly on the smudge tool to refine all the details. For the background, I tried to give it a lot of motion. It's not quite a fisheye perspective, but like it definitely does have that swooping look to it. I just wanted it to look lively and interesting, so like I did like generally follow the shape of the swoopy hair bits. I guess like following the motion of the character and directing the eye back to her. I also did want to make sure that it was like autumn themed, but it was still cohesive with the character. So I tried to keep it generally a little bit on the cooler side. Like the grass on the ground is green, but it's like a blue-green. And the leaves I tried to tint more to yellow than to red in terms of the oranges. And I tried to use a mix of yellow and orange so that the orange and the warmth of that wasn't too overpowering. And I did overlay like different cool toned layers on top of the background and different blend modes, you know, to help with cohesion. But like thinking about those colours and what's underneath beforehand definitely helps to like streamline that process. So yeah, after that it was pretty much just adding effects on top. The magic effects I made by just like drawing random blobs using the lasso tool and then like colouring them in with a gradient. I use Procreate, so there's no gradient tool or anything, but you know, doing it manually is easy enough. I also added a few lines just to help reinforce that circular motion that was happening. And then I just used a couple of extra layers to help with the lighting and to like have a very clear focal point. And yeah, that was the process. So I hope you like it. I named this ability of hers Shining Gradation, which is a bit straightforward, I know, but like I was really struggling to come up with a name for it. Although I guess now that I think about it, like Stunning Gradation might have been a bit more fitting. Oh well. Anyway, that is the end of this video, and also the end of this little series of designing seasonal magical girls. If anyone has watched up till this point, thank you so much, I really appreciate it. I guess let me know who's your favourite out of them. And yeah, I'll see you again, or not. Bye.